What would you ask a lawyer if you could ask them anything? My brother and I opened up an answering machine to allow friends and family to do just that. The questions we received were remarkable. So remarkable, in fact, that we decided to turn them into a podcast. Now, while this podcast isn't legal advice and it's just for fun, we think you're really going to like what you hear. With that being said, my name's Nathan Beam, and I help run a personal injury law firm in Melbourne, Florida.
My name's Riley Beam, and I'm a personal injury attorney.
And from the law offices of Douglas R. Beam, this is Good Questions for Bad Days.
Hey guys, so I've never called a lawyer because I'm pretty sure I can't afford one. Is that a safe assumption? And at what point is it a big enough issue that I just need to bite the bullet and figure out how to hire a lawyer?
It depends. There's all kinds of ways you can pay a lawyer. If you're in certain types of cases where you're looking for an insurance settlement, that could be something called a contingency fee, where the lawyer is paid at the end of the case with a percentage of the total recovery. So you don't have to pay them until the end, and technically it's the insurance's money that's coming out and the lawyer's getting paid from. There's also something called a flat fee, where the lawyer will quote you for a job and they estimate, in that fee how long it will take and the costs and time associated with that. There are also hourly fees. Those tend to be the most expensive because just being a lawyer, that's how we're paid. It's for our time. We don't make cars or cheeseburgers or woodwork. We provide you our time and our expertise.
I got a dumb question for you. Why do you think it is that people view lawyers as so unobtainable in price? Why do you think they look at a law firm and think that they can't afford them at all?
I think a lot of it has to do with what we see. So we see high-profile murder cases on TV that take, a month to do the trial, and they take, people are taking out mortgages on their house or doing GoFundMes and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We watch shows on TV, big corporate battles you hear about, multi-million-dollar legal fees. I think a lot of people see that. They see these big legal battles taking years, and most people aren't involved in that.
Let's assume that in every single legal situation, anyone who's listening, you should talk to an attorney. Let's just assume that off the bat. But let's talk about levels of urgency, okay, of going to talk to an attorney. So I'm going to throw some scenarios at you, Riley, and this is kind of like hot and cold, okay? So you let me know how urgent it is to go call an attorney. Let's start with a softball. The feds kick in your door and have a search warrant and claim that you have loads of drugs hidden in your walls. How quickly are you calling an attorney?
Well, you're probably going to get handcuffed and won't be able to call one right on the spot, but you want to call one right away there. And obviously don't talk to them until you talk with an attorney first.
Neighbor dispute. You have a neighbor that's doing a bunch of weird stuff. You have documentation of it. How quickly should you call an attorney? How urgent is this?
If your safety's in danger, call police before you call the attorney. But if it's something that's a nuisance that continues to bother you, the longer you put up with it, the more of a defense they might have, although it wouldn't be a strong defense. So you want to call one and at least find out what you can do to stop that from going on. And I guess the answer would be how much does it bother you and how much are you at risk, So if it's a real dangerous type of situation, get the police, and then you'll want a lawyer to protect you as well.
And let's finish with a softball. Any sort of injury.
Depends how you got hurt. If it's someone else's fault, you want to talk to a lawyer, at least before you talk to insurance companies about settling the case and things like that. If you fell at your house, that was your own fault. There's no need to call a lawyer. Or if a piece of wood hits your leg at the beach or something, nobody's fault. You don't need to call a lawyer. But yeah, I would recommend if you think someone else contributed your injury, call one.
Call an attorney. Listen, the worst case scenario is that you find out that you can't afford it. But at the absolute peak, they might really be able to help you navigate situations that are pretty tough to get through. Speaking of tough situations, if you're facing a legal issue, particularly a personal injury one, call us. With over $100 million in settlements and verdicts for families in Central Florida, we've gotten pretty good at what we do. And in the 35 years we've been open, the reviews and the word from the community, I think, is representative of that. So if you're facing any sort of legal issue, you should call us. If we can't help you, there's a really good chance that we know someone who can. And hey, if you're an attorney who's listening to this podcast and is looking for co-counsel in Florida, you should also give us a call. We regularly work on multi-million-dollar cases and would be happy to help. You can reach us at 321-723-6591 or at dougbeam.com. And from all of us, the law office of Douglas R. Beam, we really appreciate you listening, and we're looking forward to answering more good questions for bad days.